Cherry's three. Johnny Walker. Ashing up against control. His shot. Bruce score, they score. They tie the game up 2-2. He drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off. And buries the block. Daniels takes the shot for 30.
Happy Thursday. Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caracino at Diablo00 on Twitter is where you can find me, at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, is where you can find me. And the show, Facebook, and yes, Pitchfork Lunchers, you know this, the YouTube. Yes, the YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat, 005 on YouTube, and subscribe. If you missed yesterday's show, you missed my great conversation with ASU assistant head coach and special teams coordinator Charlie Ragle. Again, from what went on during the season, obviously what the offseason looks like, and it was just always a great conversation with Coach. NIL, recruiting, what went down at NAU. With Coach Ball, again, getting let go, and again, him knowing when he was at Idaho State as the head coach. And like I said, it's the hugest coaching in any sport is the largest, smallest community ever. Yes, I know. Sit on that riddle and contradiction for a while because it is, but it's true. And, it's true because, I mean, think about it. It's one of those things where like I said, it's almost like the Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation, because, they might not know a coach directly, but who worked with this coach, and, who introduces a coach to a certain thing, or who's coached in a conference. And yes, again, they're on a different staff, but like Coach Ragle said, Coach Ball had had reached out to him. Hey, anything you need, let me know. And it's, like I said, it is a bummer. But like Coach Ragle said, it's part of the business. But I digress back to, if you miss that and you subscribe to the YouTube channel at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat, 005, all the shows are there. Like the shows, share the shows. It's the holiday season's coming up. Add it to your binge list. Switch it up a little bit. More to come, obviously, as we go down the stretch of 2023, but into the new year. And again, some new stuff coming. So just look out for that. But that's my point. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. What was I going to say? But you have stuff you can watch, again, of all new things coming, like I said, in the new year. But also, I mean, just subscribe to the YouTube at MVC005. M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat, 005 on YouTube. But yeah, so subscribe to the YouTube. Great conversation. That's this interview. A great conversation with Coach Regal. Had Charlie Turner Thorne on last week before Thanksgiving. JJ Van Neal, the Pac-12 Women's Volleyball Pac-12 Coach of the Year, voted on by his peers. Just saying. Just saying. So, that being said, last night, men's hoops got the victory. I was out there for the followers on X, and I had the post game up afterwards from Coach Hurley. Again, everything he said post game. I'll play a little bit of it coming up in a little bit because a very solid game by the. They played Sam Houston State again, who had just Coach Hurley had mentioned it. They lost. Only lost to Ole Miss by 3 points, and then Ole Miss turns around and beats was it NC State by 20 or South Carolina? One of the two. But nonetheless, but yeah, nonetheless, they get the victory 78-61 over the Bearcats of Sam Houston. And some things to work on. And there are guys out. I mentioned it yesterday, and you heard it when I played Coach Hurley's sound from Tuesday about guys that were missing. And Sean Phillips is out. Zane Meeks didn't play last night as well. So, but Jose Perez, again, each game, and he talks about it. I mean, yes, he did get here late. Yes, he had about 2 weeks of practice for guys on a team that had a whole summer, and obviously got a nice, a solid bonding, European trip playing over in Europe when they went to Greece and France. So it's, like I said, it's one of those things where his style of play for Jose Perez, you absolutely love it. Like, it's a team that last night, only made 4 threes. Yeah, I think they only made 4 threes last night. I'll double check that. Or something in that neighborhood. Again, it wasn't a lot of threes. Yeah, they were 4 for 18. I mean, 22%. 22.22%. I love when they extended out that far, but 22.2% from 3-point range. They did shoot 51.6% from the field, though, for the game, 33-64. And you'll take that. Jose Perez led the team with 24 points, followed by Jemiah Neal's 14. And then both Frankie Collins and Alonzo Gaffney threw in 12 each. Gaffney, this game, 0 for 3 from behind the arc, but 6 for 9 on field goals, got to the rim, made some plays. But what I was saying about Jose Perez, if you haven't got a chance to get out and see the Devils yet, like I said, it's December. Get out and see him before conference play. Yeah, get out and see him before conference play. But Jose Perez, I love this kid's game. I mean, like and again, I'll in a little bit, I'll play a little bit of the post game with him and Jemiah Neal, but him just talking about. Actually, I'll play their whole post game. We'll play all the coaches, but you'll hear him and Jemiah Neal talk about, obviously wrapping up the game last night. But I mean, Perez was 9 for 13 from the field, 1 for 2 from behind the arc, 5 for 7. He was the best shooter of free throws. And that's one thing. And Coach Hurley was asked about that, about, free throws. Yes, it is early in the season, but they were 8 for 19. They were under 50%, 42% to be exact. 42% from the free throw line. And early on in the season, it's one thing I've said that, as it gets deeper and into conference play, you're going to the hoop, you're drawing fouls, and you're posting up smaller guards like Jose Perez. And I'm not calling him Jason Kidd. I'm just saying, with his build, being able to quote unquote, as they say in basketball, bully ball some smaller guards, he can back guards down low. And to that point of his game, very similar to what a Jason Kidd did, a few minutes ago. And but yeah, 24 points last night in 32 minutes. Like I said, very efficient, 9 for 13 shooting, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Jemiah Neal, 14 points, 8 rebounds as well, 2 assists. And then Frankie Collins with the 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. I mean, Coach did mention that last night post-game, flirting with the triple-double. But, yeah, we get into it a little bit. But, yeah, the free throw shooting, that is something that, of course, any coach will say, needs to clean up. And whether you, change it up in practice, make them, I remember, and I'm not saying it's a college thing, younger player thing, but you're running, do some running, do something to where, like, you have to, you're a teeny bit fatigued, right? Just a teeny bit fatigued. And then you have to, then shoot free throws. Think of your, form. And again, I'm not saying that they're fatigued, but I'm saying if you can create muscle memory, to overstate the obvious, you can create muscle memory from that. Then it's one of those things where, especially in conference play, it will benefit. Because again, it's shaping up to be a very, very interesting conference season. And I will get to that in a teeny bit when, again, talk more football. Also, volleyball tomorrow, kids. You know this. They are taking on Georgia to start the tournament in the national volleyball tournament. 64 teams, just like hoops. But they are taking on Georgia, who, like I said yesterday, again, not going to go through all their wins and losses, but against top 25, I want to say 1-6 or 1-6, 2-6 against top 25 teams this season, and ASU just a little bit better than that. And they are the number 5 seed, favorite number. Again, the Pitchfork Lunch mojo. I'm telling you. But yeah, no, they are taking on Georgia tomorrow. 26-6 overall. I know I've mentioned it. 14-6 in conference play. So yes, they were 12-0 going into. They were undefeated going into non-conference play. And actually, they started the season with a 14-game winning streak, going 12-0, then beating that team down south in Mullet Arena, then beating Washington a few days later, celebrate. And this, again, the 50th anniversary of women's volleyball at ASU. 50th anniversary. My theory is, what better way to honor the 50 years than with the national title, right? Pitchfork Lunchers? I know, easier said than done, but this team, again, they just have that grit. They have that bounce back. They have that, Coach Van Neal, one thing, yeah, you can say, ideology, X's and O's, which very important, as we know, but and not even because he, you know, Dover said, I was winning coach of the year. He just has, his team has that energy about it that they get from him, the way he coaches, and just even talking to him, you know, he seems obviously calm when we've talked to him. Not that, you know, he's going to be shouting or anything, but I digress because again, they have his, again, just the energy that he brings to it, and how he, you know, his experience in volleyball, how he wants his teams to play, having the players that can execute that. You know, again, just having that energy and that, you know, I guess you could say mojo around the program. You know, it's in 1 year, again, they haven't been over 500. And I mentioned this in the beginning of the season, in the beginning when I started doing the show. But yeah, they haven't been over 500 in conference play in just about a decade. And there was one season in there where they did not win one conference game. And knowing that, like, the history of ASU volleyball, I'm just saying, like, it was to the point where it was shocking. It was I mean, especially to me, yes, but it was shocking to a lot of people. And he's the right fit, and he came in. And look, it is a tough road. But yeah, a team that started with a 14-game winning streak and then winning 15 out of their first 16, because then they fell to Stanford. Then they turned around and beat Cal in 5, beat SC, beat UCLA, lost to Oregon State, beat Oregon, beat Utah, then lost to Colorado, beat Cal, beat Stanford, beat UCLA, lost to USC, beat Colorado, beat Utah, lost to Oregon, beat Oregon State, lost to Washington State, and then beat Arizona. People say, well, a little choppy down the end of the season. First of all, Pac-12. Secondly, Oregon number 6, Washington State number 11. USC finished the season ranked 23, 24, like 22, 23, 24. But yeah, and they split, like I said, split with SC, split with Oregon, split with Stanford, split with Oregon State, split with Colorado. The only match, obviously, against Washington State, like I said, they fell in 5 up in Pullman, but that was a phenomenal match, and swept. So yeah, you sweep Arizona, the one loss to Washington State. You split with Oregon State, split with Oregon, sweep Utah, split with Colorado, split with USC, sweep UCLA, split with Stanford, sweep Cal. Yeah, and then you beat Washington, like I said. So beating every team in the Pac-12 this year except for Washington State, who, again, very, very good team. You know, and the way the brackets are set for the women's national tournament, it could be an all Pac-12 final. Now, of course, Stanford and ASU can meet in the Sweet 16. So, of course, one is going home. I think, when we get to it in a little bit, but I think Oregon can get there without knocking out another Pac-12 team, but USC and Washington State, if I remember the brackets correctly, and again, I'll when we get more into volleyball, I'll go back and double check that. But so it's just odd. 2 could knock each other off, and then I'd have to see. Actually, it could be depending on the other side of the bracket, but I think Arizona State, Oregon, and Stanford could end up knocking each other off, or something like that. But I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. So, and women's basketball. By the way, don't forget that they are playing this weekend, the Brianne January Classic, and they are 6-2. Don't forget that. Head coach Natasha Adair, again, been on the show before the season started. Always fun to do that. And again, we'll start. And it is December. with schedules, but we'll again start getting some players on men's and women's side. Again, working on it. Gotta um um yeah, gotta set things up. But they are 6-2 again, and like I said, coming off back-to-back wins after, a tough game against Texas, kind of mirroring the men. Tough game against BYU, turn around against Vanderbilt, get the win. Play Sam Houston, get the win. But yeah, lost on Thanksgiving. But they were, in the Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. So that first game, it's again not a bad scenic place to be for Thanksgiving, right? But 84-42. But then they win 66-49 and 77-69. They beat South Florida on Friday and then High Point on Saturday. But now, like I said, Friday, tomorrow, which is December 1st, kids, the Brianne January Classic. Like I said, the first game at 4:00 is Temple versus Xavier. And then the second game, they're at 7 p.m. They are taking on Pacific. And then Saturday, Pacific takes on Temple at 1, and then the Devils take on Xavier at 4. So again, chance to get out there, check, and watch the women play. So, but 6-2 on the season, and again, a more fluid start. It does suck, and I will mention this again. It's like football throughout season, not an excuse, facts. But Ty Skinner out for the year, and just. Like I said, the bummer to that real quick is how her and Jaden Simmons were playing off of each other. Even though last season was, they were, knock on wood, Coach Adair, unfortunately, in her first season, Coach Shillingham can parallel to that, having quite a few injuries, but unfortunate. But that being said, like the way they were playing off each other, Simmons and Skinner, like you start to see like it could be a backcourt that, especially going into conference play, that could cause quite a bit of headaches for teams. So, but 6-2, heck of a start. Haven't dropped a game at home. Let's keep that going. Forks up. Great job, women. And then 0-1 away, 2-1 neutral site. So, yeah, that's what's coming up. But like I said, tomorrow at 7:00 at Desert Financial. Again, 4 and 7 at Desert Financial, but ASU plays Pacific at 7, and then Saturday they play Xavier at 4. So, that being said, yeah, that's what's going on. But I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, I will jump more detailed back into the hoops game from last night, things I saw. And like I said, we'll hear from Frankie Collins, or not Frankie Collins, Jemiah Neal and Jose Perez as well, along with Coach Early. So I'll step aside again, take a few bites of your lunch, sips of your drinks, Thirsty Thursday, and we'll be back with more here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Carrasino. You can find me at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook and YouTube. Again, don't forget, subscribe to the YouTube channel at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. And again, you'll catch the great interviews. Obviously, I mentioned the coaches that we've had, but also players that have been on, and which we shall get more and more. But again, check it out. Subscribe to the YouTube at MVC005. But hoops, all right, they get the 78-61 victory last night, men's hoops. And Bobby Hurley, again, looking for his team to keep building momentum after the tough BYU game, which, again, wee bit tough. But yeah, wee bit tough. But turned around, beat Vanderbilt, and then came home, played Sam Houston State, and beat them. Which, again, like I said to start the show. I mean, the tough part was they shot 42% from the free throw line. They were 8 for 19. Right? Yeah, Arizona State. Yeah, 8 for 19. Contrasted to, I mean, Sam Houston State only went to the free throw line 11 times, but they were at 72. They were almost at 73%, 72.7%, but 72% for the game. They were 8 for 11. So again, at that clip, a little bit better, which is again 72. In the 70s at the low end is really where you want to beat the low end. But I mean, 75 and up. As a coach, I mean, you'll take, but I mean, it's like, you expect guards to be 85, 90, 80, at least 85% free throw shooters for guards, right? 80, 85%. No one's coming at you. It's a free shot. But yes, just like hoops, they all don't go in. But yeah, I mean, 42%, okay. And then 22%, again, the shooting, Coach Hurley has talked about that. I mean, you heard it yesterday. When I play the sound, obviously from after practice, but just it's been tough shooting. Again, Jose Perez, 9 for 13 field goals last night. Only took 2 threes. It was 1 for 2, 5 for 7. He did have the best shooting percentage free throw wise from anybody. But yeah, it's Jemiah Neal was 2 for 3. But Frankie Collins, tough night for a guard. Anything you wouldn't expect, 1 for 5. Bryant Celebonge was 0 for 4. So I mean, again, those are the little things, especially, and not forget conference play, but I mean through non-conference play, because they have a very tough schedule, a challenging schedule, which Coach Hurley has throughout the years has definitely done, and it's even where they're playing, like they're like I said, not preseason, where they're playing their early season classics, invitationals, all that good stuff. But yeah, for last night's game, I mean, look, I love how Perez, and you'll hear him talk about it too, because I did ask him about it, like setting a tone, and even asking Coach Hurley about that. But the way they're able to play off each other and move the ball, getting the guy that has a shot. And I mean, there was 1 or 2 plays, I think Coach Hurley said something said along the lines post game where there's this one play where Frankie got a teeny bit out of control, got in the air, and didn't make the right play, the right pass. But yeah, I mean, the way he plays on the court, I mean, he also had Collins had 3 steals. They had 8. They won the turnover battle. The Bearcats, Sam Houston State had 15. ASU only had 10. So like to see it under double digits, but once again, not turning the having 1 turnover every 4 minutes, not too bad. But they had 15 turnovers. Again, they had 8 steals. Sam Houston had 5. But yeah, I mean, you can see it, and coaches talked about it. I mean, getting used to each other on the court. Yes, it was tough that it was tough that like I said, not having the players didn't have, no Phillips, no Meeks, and but the freshman Braylon Green played 9 minutes. I mean, he did have 2 points, 2 steals as well. I mean, coach highlighted that, and even the guys did. The guys did too. But again, you get people healthy now, and you can develop depth, develop a bench, and when you put guys in, again, it's not just like okay, a quick breather before uh, the TV, the media timeouts come. You're putting guys in there, and Braylon Green. I mean, he looked good? Like I said, 2 points. He was 1 for 3 from the field, 0 for 1 from behind the arc. But again, 2 steals, 1 assist. Or no, sorry, Braylon Green had 2 points, 2 steals, 2 assists. Did pick up 3 fouls, but again, playing aggressive defense as a freshman. And coach, talks a little bit about that too. Talk a little bit about that too post game. So, yeah, I mean, Sam Houston again, they're 4-4. And I said yesterday, I mean, yeah, they were part of, they had got blown out themselves, but again, was, lost Old Miss by 3. So that is one thing that is good because, they were shorthanded. And I mentioned the guards having to rebound. I mean, when you have your 3 guards in Perez, Neal, and obviously Frankie Collins. Perez had 8, Neal had 8, Collins had 7, knowing how they were a little bit short, a little bit light, I should say, in the front court due to the players that weren't playing. But that's 23 rebounds. And it's funny because both teams, and I mean, I know it's happened in the past, but I very rarely see it. Somebody doesn't, out rebound somebody by 1, but both teams, they were even in rebounds, 42 rebounds for each team, pardon me, each teams, the 2 Utes, right? The 2 Utes. But 42 rebounds, and 23 of those were from your backcourt, were from guards. Like I said, Perez, Neal, and Collins. Absolutely awesome. They needed to crash the boards, and they talked about it. So that's a big part. But yes, but we will now hear from Frankie Collins and Jose Perez after last night's game.
Go ahead.
Remind, did you feel the win against Vanderbilt maybe gave you some kind of momentum that carried over to tonight?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that win helped us a lot. It showed us, some things we could do that could help us, going forward, and I think we capitalized on it.
Jose, you only needed a couple of threes to get to your 24 points tonight. What way has your play style, do you think, stabilized the offense at times?
Me adjusting to them and them adjusting to me. Playing with some talented guards. I just feel like they trust me enough. I came in 2 weeks, and then they just trust me to make the right plays.
Are you surprised how fast the acclimation process has been for you so far?
Still rusty, if I'm being honestly speaking. And I'm playing with a little injury. So my man right here trusts me, and I trust him to make the right plays.
But you guys just played really hard consistently. That's not always easy. What's enabled that? Is that been a focus for you guys?
BYU punched us in the mouth. No talking about it. They're a really good team, but we're a really good team, I feel like, and we just haven't played up to our potential just yet. And I feel like BYU showed us that we need to play hard on both ends.
The injuries in the front court, I mean, coach just talked about it, but how big is it for you to kind of have that physical presence to start off the game, backing down guys, and you're hitting easy shots or looking for your teammates?
That's just my natural game. It's a unique game. I don't know where I got it from. I think it's a New York play style, and I feel like my teammates just trust me to make the right plays down there.
The 2 of you and Frankie combined for I think 23 rebounds. You knew you had 2 of your bigs out. So was that a conversation point that you guys needed to hit the glass?
He started that.
How?
He just when they started getting rebounds, I was like, oh, I gotta go get some rebounds too. Yeah, we knew, but
with Zane and Sean out that we had to step up, and we're all big athletic guards, so we knew that we could go in there and we had to really help Brian and Zoe and those guys out in the paint. So us going to get, I think he had 8 rebounds. I had 8 rebounds. I think Frank had 6 or 7. That's big. We just got to continue to do that every night.
Y'all have a lot of success in transition tonight and have had a lot of success in transition this year. Just what do you think goes into that, and specifically this game having that success?
Defense. That's always been our calling card. With our offense struggling right now, we always got to rely on getting stops and getting out of transition and getting easy buckets. So the more we can get stops, the more we get easy transition buckets, the better for us.
And you mentioned the offense struggling a little bit, just in the half court. How do you guys, do a little?
It's a long season, just get 1% better every day. That's all we got to do. We don't have to look our best right now. It's a very long season. So, we're just trying to get 1% better every day.
What does it say when you only hit 4 threes as a team and you just blow the doors off somebody?
We're really good shooters. Everybody on the team can shoot, from Frankie to Jemiah to Zoe to Kamari. We really have really good shooters. It's just a confidence thing. I feel like they're going to start falling when it matters. I believe in this team, for all of us.
You didn't even need it when you play like that.
Yeah, we're out in transition. We had 19 assists to 10 turnovers, so that's a really good time.
As Coach Ridley talked about,
Like in the huddle we said last game, what's understood don't got to be explained. So, we know we have to go out there and do. With those guys being out, everybody has to step up. And credit our bench for going out. We got 2 freshmen that play hard. They listen. They go in. They play their role. They compete, and they're doing really well. And I think they're gonna help us. And we got a good starting 5, and just keep playing as a team and keep getting better every day. And that's just gonna keep helping us.
Shout out to the freshmen. They're playing hard.
Yeah, shout out to them.
anything else?
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
You heard it right there. I mentioned it. I mean, she well, Jemiah Neal said it first, but then Jose Perez echoing his thoughts, saying, "Shout out to the freshmen." Like I said, you come in and you can contribute and play. And obviously, Coach Hurley's not going to put him on the court again if it's going to be cost the team, on the defensive end of the court, offensive, whatever. I mean, if they're not contributing, and they are, and Jemiah said right there, they're playing hard, as did Jose. But yeah, I mean, you heard it was asked right there about, when I asked about, that's why I asked about the physical play to Jose Perez. He goes, I guess it's a New York thing, but yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, he early on, he kind of said that if he's going to back a smaller guard down, and I said it again, I'm not again, white man can't jump. Don't just listen to Jimmy, hear Jimmy. Listen to what I'm saying, but hear what I'm saying. I'm not calling him Jason Kidd. Obviously, we know, what Jason Kidd did at Cal in the Pac-10 at the time, but the career he went on to have, just being a bigger guard, able to back smaller guards down, had that in his game, and could obviously getting the ball to the open guy. But for Jose Perez to kind of have that same mentality with being physical, backing smaller guys down, it opens up, like he says, with Jemiah Neal. And yeah, I mean, this team, I've seen Jemiah Neal shoot. Obviously, Frankie Collins, Alonzo Gaffney as well. I mean, them being around, and now it's on, guys like you said, Perez, obviously get used to his game, and then Akil Watson as well. He didn't get punched last night, or cheap shotted, so that's always good. I know, bad joke. I know. Sorry, pitchfork lunchers. Again, that was from the things. Who punches somebody on Thanksgiving? Come on, competition or not. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see, obviously, Collins, hit shots. Same thing with Celebonge as well. I mean, he was 3 for 4 from the field, and he was getting to the rim. Alonzo Gaffney, like I said, 6 for 9 from the field, over 3 from behind the arc. So yeah, you do want to see, like I said, you're not hitting from 3, see the ball go through the hoop, get to the rim. Collins and Perez can drive, get down low, get the other team in foul trouble. Yes, I know it's basketball. They're not going to get every call. The whistle's not going to blow every time, but you put the referee in the spot and a defender's in a bad spot. Both Collins and Perez can do that. And Jemiah Neal, again, on the outside, Gaffney, again, shooting in rhythm. We've seen, again, he can do it, being that 6'9" wing. But yeah, for Sam Houston State, I mean, to wrap that real quick before we get to Coach Hurley, their leading scorer, was Damon Nicholas Jr., who had, or Damon, pardon me, Damon Nicholas Jr., who had 15 points, and then Devon Barnes had 13. Kyan Scroggins had 11. So 3 guys in double figures, not bad. ASU has 4. They had 13 assists to 15 turnovers. So, a -2, but they had 13 assists. They had 5 steals. So 18 to 15. That's how I look at it as the super hybrid stat, I guess you could say, because I know it's assists to turnovers, the plus minus there, but when you add in steals, so they had 18. So they were, a +3, but you look at ASU, 19 assists, 8 steals, 27 to 10. So plus 17 in the, like I said, hyper stats there. So, but yeah, I like what Collins and Perez, Jemiah Neal and Jose Perez are saying. But yeah, it's gaining that trust. It's playing more and more games together, as we know. And getting comfortable. And obviously Perez, again, yes, you have to inject yourself, but not to overforce it, I guess would be the word, because or the 2 words, but the description, not overforce, over inject yourself in, see what they want to do, play with the flow. And, with players being banged up, but coach putting them in, the starting lineup. That's tough for anybody to come in. You're A, getting used to how they want to run their offense, B, getting used to different players. So, it's a work in progress with Perez, but said by conference play, after this month, by conference play, it at least to me, very exciting, because having that physical point guard and a guy that wants to get to the rim, and same thing with Frankie Collins. Might not be as big as Perez, but still getting to the rim, driving. Love Frankie Collins this game. Love it. So, again, got to clean up the free throw shooting, and Coach Hurley addressed that. So, yeah, let's hear a little bit from Coach Hurley, his thoughts on last night's game and where, how even the team just grew, from the Vanderbilt game to Sam Houston.
Game, considering the injury. Sorry? You're good. The injury issues that we've had on the front court. So, but, we really competed defensively. It was our best half in the first half of getting deflections, and it got us in a position where we're getting stops, and thought we might be able to run on Sam Houston in transition. They play very hard. We thought that might have been something that we could exploit, and fortunately we had the stops that were able to get some baskets in transition. So it's fun to watch the guys play that way tonight.
For the win against Vanderbilt, created maybe some momentum that carried over to tonight.
Just overall, just feeling better. We're still finding ourselves. It's still not the entire way there. And as we hopefully add pieces that that aren't available right now, as we go over the next few weeks, I think we have a chance to incorporate those guys, and then we'd have a chance. Sean right now, just getting him back and getting him healthy is going to be important. So we're I think some of the things that stood out for me in the game was, again, our bench taking a step with, Braylon's defense and activity, and then Akil just laying out on the floor for a loose ball is probably the best thing we did all night. And then Jemiah, 8 defensive rebounds. If we have some limitations with our size, and to be just completely honest, they looked more like a power conference team in warm-ups than we did. But we compensated for not having, that girth in the inside with just like a lot of will and athletic ability. So it was good to see the guys play, with that type of energy on defense.
It's something you've been talking a lot about, just the competitive nature and turning defense into offense.
it's something that should be a strength of ours, and we we pressed a little bit early and wanted to see what they did with that, and that worked pretty well. But then once we were able to establish the advantage, I even asked our team, what do you want to go back to that, and they no, let's just sit down and keep getting stops, and that's so we stayed more in our man defense at that point. But I thought our defensive communication was very good for most of the game. It was a lot of switches on point, and we do have a lot of guys that are kind of similar size and are interchangeable, so we could switch majority of things on defense with this team.
Did you ask that kind of team to make the switch defensively? When did that happen?
I'm sorry.
When did that happen in the game to ask the team if they wanted to make the switch?
That was like late in the half as we had pretty good control of the game. I had to call timeout when they cut it to 10, but outside of that, when they had I think 6 straight or 7 straight to cut into our lead. But outside of that, the defense was rock solid, and it's just so they wanted to keep keep guarding, keep making things difficult, and so that was that was what they wished for. I mean, they're not always going to get what they want, but that in that case, it was something we wanted to do.
Frankie Collins just seems to continue to be an elite defender.
Yeah, I mean he's again another good steal game. He was kind of flirting with with the triple double, and so just with the rebounding and some good passing, and so he had a really good all around game as you hope your point guard would.
I like Jose setting kind of that presence down on the offensive level when you're on the game, backing his guy down low. I know he talked about that when he got here, but just from him tonight, I mean, even if the 3-pointer is not going, just him setting that tempo down low.
Yeah, it's important to have balance in your offense and in the ability when things are going a little sideways that you could get a high percentage shot. We were able to do that, I think, right off the timeout when it was 29-19 and go to Jose, and he got us a basket to immediately get the lead and get us going again. And just, again, without Sean Phillips, and Sean was a guy that I thought, based on the whole summer, we'd be able to throw it inside to him, play through him some inside out. But Jose is kind of taken more of that role to do that, and he could create, very creative, crafty around the basket, and he could pass.
Worried about the free throws at all? It seems like it's been a continuing issue.
Yeah, I mean, we shot him well versus Vandy, didn't shoot him well. Brian last year did not shoot free throws well. He's worked hard on it. When it left his hand, it looked pretty good to me from my angle. The ball didn't go in. And some other guys struggled with it as well. But yeah, we probably certainly have to hopefully clean that up. But this for this game, with this team, to handle this team that way was impressive for me with all that we're going through on the injury front, and to be able to do that against a team that again lost by 3 at Ole Miss, and Ole Miss just beat NC State by 20 last night. So we needed to play well in order to have this type of result.
What makes this team so good in transition, and is that kind of just your goal moving forward, to be kind of the bread and butter of the offense this season?
Well, they're naturally gifted athletes that can change ends. Frankie Collins, Gaffney, Jemiah Neal, all guys that really excel in the open court with their athletic ability, and they, particularly Frankie with. I think he left his feet one time and didn't make the right play, but I think he had 7 assists, 1 turnover, or something like that. So he was like really good. Jemiah could get to the basket. Jose makes good decisions in transition. He rewarded Gaffney with a lob when he could have probably taken the shot himself. So we just need more sacrifice like that, and I think we have a chance to be pretty good.
We have so many injuries. It's good to see the freshmen, Green and Watson, really stepping up lately. You've been pleased with the development so far?
Yeah, these are great learning experiences for them, and again, if we didn't have the injuries we had, and still waiting on other non-injury related news relative to a key player for us, then who knows if we would see what we're able to see now, and it's great that they're having a really positive impact on what we're doing.
Coach, it feels like Jose Perez is finally kind of settling into his role. What have you seen from him over the last couple of weeks?
Just he knows his game, and it's just a matter of his teammates understanding it, coaching staff feeling more comfortable with him. He was very efficient again, 9 of 13, and so that type of efficiency is important. And when we get back to the bench, I think the key thing for guys like Braylon Green and Akil Watson is the guys that start like need to perform the way they can, and they did the last two games. Like the starters played well. The guys that are our top core really have played better. And then that takes the pressure off guys like that where they're not thrown into the fire in a bad situation. So the more that we could get off to good starts with our first unit and kind of protect those guys as they come in and they're still learning and developing, that would be helpful.
What are some positive indicators as you see it when your team is performing well offensively?
Well, it's showing me that we have will and determination, because we're still, we can't just go get the ball off the basket. We got to have guys fighting for it, and there were a lot of 50-50s that we came up with the basketball, and again, a guy like Jemiah Neal getting 8 rebounds was like huge for us. Like our guards got to be able to rebound, because we're right now dealing with multiple injuries to our front court. So, and we fought, and again, we held our opponent to 35% from the field. So they're showing me that they're willing to guard and get stops. They're committed to doing that, and they're just playing as hard as they can. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, so we got through all of Coach Rowley. Heard him right there. But yeah, I mean, again, going back to the bench and shouting it out and talking about the guards getting the rebounds, and absolutely huge. 23, like I said, 23 rebounds for Coach Hurley's guards. I mean, you love seeing it. That's what I know. You absolutely love seeing it, because when you're short like that, and you can expect it. If guy puts up a shot, instead of releasing and leaving him there, you're going to the glass, making sure making sure, like I said, you're obviously coming away with the ball. And like you said about the depth and the bench, and he did touch, on the free throws, saying that, yeah, it's and you're saying Salabonga again worked on it. In the off season, it's one of those things. It's got to go. As had a coach say, take a deep breath, relax, and you the same form every time you get, especially on your home court. When you're away, not an excuse. Again, you're playing at this level for a reason. When you're away, yes, you have a shoot around on the court. It's one thing, but at home, you're used to it. You do have, not every day, but they have a practice facility, but you do have practice there, game week, and you're on the floor and you get to your spot on the foul line and shoot. But yeah, it's one of those things. And coach, addresses, it's got to improve, but you got to love the rebounding. You got to love the steals, the cutting down on turnovers. And Jose Perez said it. I mean, you see Jemiah Neal and agree. It's like, what was BYU? BYU punched us in the mouth. And again, like Mike Tyson used to say, Mike Tyson's great quote, kids. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Then what's your plan? And Mike Tyson took a lot of people out of their plans, but that's another show at another time. But yeah, Mike Tyson, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Then what's your plan? But yeah, I mean, it's when you look at it, it's one of those things where it's like I said, you can learn a lot from the BYU game. And yeah, the BYU shot. I mean, look, a team shooting over 60% from the 3-point line at one point, and then finishes over 50%. Like, yeah, that's a long day. Was it 50%? Let's see. I want to say it was. I want to say it was over 50% for the game, but that's just me. But yeah, still, I mean, either way, it's yeah, for BYU. I mean, 77-49 score, again, like Jose Perez, you got punched in the mouth. Does Does not digest well. Oh, they shot 42% from the 3-point line, which is still insane. But they were they were 8 for 14 in the second half, 6 for 19 in the first half. But you go 8 for 14, well over 57% in the second half. That's what I was looking at. 57% in the second half, but still 42% from the line. And that's, yes, going to cause a ton of issues. But hey, nice 2 bounce backs. And now up next, they do have San Francisco Sunday at 1 p.m. again at Desert Financial Arena. Go check it out. And yeah, like I said, Sunday, you spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday, women's hoops. Friday, Saturday, men's hoops Sunday. Hockey's out of town. Volleyball, obviously, on Saturday, ESPN Plus. And again, don't forget volleyball tomorrow, the 26-6 Sun Devils, the number 5 seed in their region. They take on the Georgia Bulldogs, who are pardon me, 19-11 overall. Yes, the Lady Bulldogs finished 19-11, 10-8 in conference. Again, ASU 26-6, 14-6 in conference. 12-3 at home, 5-6 away, 2-2 neutral site. So but 2-6, like I said, against top 25 ranked teams. They had quite a few in their conference. But yeah, in Provo, Utah, they are taking on the Devils, and that's at 4:30 local time on ESPN Plus tomorrow. And we'll see again. Real quick, what volleyball has done, and I've talked about it. Coach Van Neal's been on, talked about running a fast offense. How do you run a fast offense? Well, if you can dominate at serve, you're serving right away. And yes, drop the amount of aces they have, which is phenomenal. But get a team out of system. Try and get them out of system pretty quick. And if you can do that on the serve receive, or get a team basically not being able to get it right to their setter with a tough serve and have that free ball that comes over and giving you a chance, like that is what the serve does, and why Coach Van Neal, and he even said it. He said it on the show. He goes that, and he said it in pressers throughout the year, like post-game pressers, like this is a team that just believes, like they believe in, they bought in, believes, yes, in their talent, what they can do, but they bought in from day one. Him showing like this is what it needs to look, this is what we need to do. And yes, he got the fast offense going, and Shannon Shields, the setter, obviously the huge, huge key to that. But the way they run their offense, and having seen, some of Georgia's matches, going back and looking again, they have a 6'5" middle. It'll be tough, but ASU is going to go at that. They're going to attack it. They're going to get them out of system. And the service, again, is going to be huge in Provo, Utah at 4:30 tomorrow. Again, I'll talk more about it tomorrow as they get set, like I said, to play Georgia. But yeah, the 5th ranked team in the in their region, and taking on a 12th ranked Georgia team. So nonetheless, if they win, they take on BYU on Saturday, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, again, it's gonna get out of here. Everybody enjoy your rest of your Thirsty Thursday. Again, you can follow me on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, at Diablo00, and see the show here, there, live on Facebook, also YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not done already. Like I say in the beginning of the show, and yes, Pitchfork Lunchers, I know, broken record, but subscribe. I have a ton of player interviews from this obviously awesome volleyball team, coach interviews, the voice of the Sun Devils, Sim Healy, Chris Cartman's jumped in a few times. There's more to come. Had Coach Regal, Coach Mons, Willie Bloomquist, the men's the baseball head coach. We'll get out to softball, beach volleyball, swimming. Yes, out to swimming because Leon Marchand, this young man who is just crushing it, and he is French. He will be in the Summer Olympics. This coming Summer Olympics in France, in his home country. So we'll be rooting, to see what a Sun Devil can do in the Olympics. But yes, he has won them many. He has just crushed it since he's been here working with Coach Bowman. And yeah, so yes, I will get out to all, like I said, just we're building. So jump on in, hit me up on X at Diablo00, questions, thoughts, conversation topics, interviews you might like to see. Again, I'm working on it. It's just schedules have to match up, and sometimes that's a challenge, but again, it always can be, something can be done. So have a great rest of your Thursday. Again, subscribe to the YouTube at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005, where you can get everything. See all the shows, like them, share them, binge watch them for the holidays, get caught up before as we charge into the new year, and go from there. So enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. Like I said, same bat time, same bat channel. And yes, Sun Devil Nation, you know it. As always, forks up.
Cherry's three. Johnny Walker. Ashing up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5